Hi, and welcome to the Citizen Pollution Watch virtual tour of the I-270 Westerville Road industrial site. We're starting with a long shot here. The site there is the red mark, 6187 Westerville Road. That happens to be the address of the asphalt plant that operates there. But we have a long shot just to show you what's around. You have lots going on around this industrial site. You have lots of homes, condos. You have Otterbein University. You have lots of schools, churches, places of worship. The Vineyard Church is on there. You'll see right above the red marker there. Huber Ridge is to the east. Westerville is down here to the north. Huber Ridge, of course, is Blendon Township. And then you have Columbus on the other side of the Vineyard Church there. Alum Creek is right here. You can see Alum Creek. And then I'd like to take you down Route 3 to the industrial site. So we're going to travel where my arrow is here, down south on Route 3 and cross 270. And you'll see the industrial site is this triangle right here. So you have Westerville Road on the east, 270 bordering the north, Alum Creek bordering the western side of it, and the southern part, it comes to Paris Boulevard. One thing before we go into the site that I'd like to show you is the Huber Ridge water supply, which is this green area right here. It's just about a quarter mile downstream from the industrial site. And that's important because the source water protection area for the Huber Ridge public water supply is in this southern section right here where Top Cat Concrete operates. And so one can assume that the aquifer is near or under there, and that's why the source water protection area is there. It would mean that anything that goes onto the ground would eventually, it might take years, but would eventually find its way possibly to that public water supply, the wells there. I believe there are 6 or 7 wells. So without further ado, let's kind of come around to enter the site at Dempsey. So that is right here. You see this white structure here? That's Kurtz Brothers. So I'm going to maybe try to get down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we're going to enter the site at Dempsey Road, which is right here. This is, anyone can go in to travel these roads. So if you come around, once you're on Dempsey, you can come around to Emmerich, right here, this road right here. Goes right by this irrigation pond. So we're going to go to the first plant, which is in the northern section. And the plant is the Scioto Materials asphalt plant. It's co-owned by Kokosing and Shelley Materials, and Kokosing's office building is right here on the right. And so this section houses, as you can see, many piles. They call aggregate, sand, rocks. This makes up asphalt. What also goes into asphalt at this production plant is recycled asphalt. And that's this big pile here. People bring their recycled asphalt, and then Scioto Materials has a portable asphalt crushing plant, and they crush it into little pieces, and that's what these piles are. To get some perspective how big these piles are, these are trucks right here. And so you can see how big those are. Right along here is a tributary, and so one can assume that any runoff from these piles would be going into the tributary, which eventually makes its way to Alum Creek along this western edge. And so the plant is right here. These are 6 large silos that house the asphalt when it's done. The emissions come from a stack right here, a yellow stack, and those emissions will be chemical emissions ranging from volatile organic compounds, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and particulate matter. You'll have other silos here which house the liquid asphalt, which of course is a petroleum-based product. And so when these things are heated up, that's what the emissions are. So anything that's in this petroleum, which it's not just what I named. I mean, there's hazardous air pollutants. Those will go into the air from this stack because it's getting all heated up. So that is the first plant on our tour. I have a 15-minute limit here, so let me leave the asphalt plant, and we're going to go across a tributary to Anderson Concrete. And I'm going to just try to get some perspective here. We're looking west, Alum Creek, and that is Anderson Concrete right here. Lots of more piles, dirt roads, and we're talking lots of particulate matter whenever trucks drive in and out, which is happening all day long. You have a little pond of something here. One can assume that might be concrete washout when they wash the trucks of the concrete, which contain toxic metals. Best practice would be that those pits are lined when they put the concrete washout on the ground. That's best practice via the EPA. I do not believe those pits are lined from the research we've done. If you travel just east, you'll see Kurtz Brothers composting piles. These are the first piles of 3 that we'll look at. And so these composting piles are made from yard waste, and that is one of the odors that we get complaints about. Putrid composting odors is what citizens allege. The other main odor that we hear a lot about is what people think might be asphalt odor, and those would be, of course, the chemical emissions that citizens allege is really bothering them. So those 3 facilities, Scioto Materials, Anderson Concrete, and the first compost piles here, Kurtz Brothers Westerville Yard Waste Facility, those are in Columbus. So now let's go to the midsection, and that is right here. And let me just go back so you can see we're at Route 3 right here on the bottom of the screen, and we are looking west. Alum Creek is here. You have Kurtz Brothers, again, this white structure here. You have right here is a plant called Metro Materials Concrete Crushing Plant, and they take in recycled concrete and they crush it. Again, perspective, this is some sort of machinery here. And so that's how big the piles are. So concrete is dropped off here and then crushed into little pieces. We're talking particulate matter. And another complaint we get is about noise, industrial noise. People across the creek along Cooper Road have said that the noise can be all night long and that they've suffered loss of sleep and increased stress from that, from the noise. Coming from this industrial site is what is alleged. And so right here behind Metro Materials are more compost piles. You see some leachate, which is this bright green here. And then you have back along the creek is what's called Sarasota Transport, Pug Mills, and those are portable concrete related plants, portable plants. 22 violations, some 22, right around that number. Citizen Pollution Watch has uncovered at this industrial site, and Citizen Pollution Watch has taken these suspected violations to the authorities, and the authorities have indeed issued violation, what are they called? Notices, voluntary compliance notices. And one of the violations that Citizen Pollution Watch uncovered was development back here, illegally developed without the proper permits right along the floodplain there. So we're going to go south for, again, this, I'm not sure I said, is in Blendon Township. Where we were, the asphalt plant at Anderson Concrete and the first compost piles over here on the right are in Columbus. The midsection is in Blendon Township. And so any zoning issues would be under Blendon Township's jurisdiction. So coming to the southern section, this is an electric company we don't know much about yet. And then we're going to come to more composting piles. These are huge composting piles, yard waste. You see more leachate ponds. One of the violations we uncovered was that this leachate pond, where my arrow is, was too close to Alum Creek, but the Ohio EPA decided to give them a pass on that, and I think it's called a variance, if I'm not mistaken. And so these are composting piles. Some have said the smell could be coming from the leachate ponds. Also, flies have been an issue. The businesses along here is one complaint. We will conclude with the southern section. Again, in Blendon Township is Top Cat Concrete. Again, we're talking about particulate emissions. And again, this is in the source water protection area for the Huber Ridge Public Water Supply. And one concern that we've had is having to do with, let me see if I can get it, the concrete washout pit, which right here. And they've seemingly put a barrier there. We do not believe this is lined, as is best practice via the EPA, the US EPA, that is. But the Ohio EPA is seemingly not requiring that to be a lined pit. And that is a concern, especially since this is in the source water protection area for the Huber Ridge Public Water Supply. So, again, this is Paris Boulevard at this southern end. So let me just, with the 2 minutes we have left, let me just get a kind of an overview. So we are looking west. The Vineyard Church is back here, Cooper Road, Alum Creek, and there's Route 3. And there you have it. There's the southern, or I'm sorry, the midsection, which is in Blendon Township. There's Anderson Concrete and Kurtz Brothers Westerville Yard Waste Facility compost piles. And there is Scioto Materials asphalt plant and their recycled asphalt portable crushing plant. And this again is co-owned by Kokosing and Shelley Materials. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Please explore our website, become a member, and file your complaint whenever you feel you are being bothered. Thanks so much.